This is how crazy this man is in Cheeto Jesus. And over the weekend, we were told by Donald Trump's campaign staff that Trump would be talking about his economic plan for the future and why people in this country need to vote for him as far as policy. So one of the first things that Donald Trump spoke about at his rally over the weekend was about the late, great golfer Arnold Palmer. If you don't know who Arnold Palmer is, he's a legend, one of the best to ever play the game of golf. Great guy. I was very fortunate in high school. I got a chance to meet him. He was so nice to me, and it was an honor just to be able to have met the man. But Donald Trump wasn't talking about Arnold Palmer, the golfer. He was talking about Arnold Palmer, what he has in his pants. For lack of a better term, have a listen to this.
But when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here.
So that's Donald Trump talking about Arnold Palmer's genitalia. That's Donald Trump with kids in the crowd, his supporters there. He's supposed to be talking about his economic policy, which, by the way, he never does talk about. He just attacks people, calls Kamala stupid, starts dancing around and listening to music. And instead of talking about his economic policy, again, this is the man that you want to be the leader of the free world. Listen, every single day I'm playing clips from this guy and how unhinged he is and how mentally unwell he is. He's a sick person. I think anybody with a brain would understand that. Can you imagine for a moment if Joe Biden was on a stage at a rally, or Kamala Harris, or whoever, and they started to talk about a late, great golfer like an Arnold Palmer and started bragging about how big their penis was? Mark Levin would be talking about it, saying that, oh my God, Joe Biden has no moral value. Sean Hannity would be leading it. They'd be talking about it on Fox News. They'd be talking about it on the 5. They would be leading with this story. And what, rightfully so, they should, because it's inappropriate and it's wrong and it's disgusting and whatever other words you want to use. Fox News won't even mention this. Newsmax, OAN, they won't even touch this story. They won't talk about it. This is, for lack of a better term, par for the course for Donald Trump. Talking about Arnold Palmer's genitalia at one of his rallies when there are children at the rally, families at the rally, but the evangelical right will keep their mouth shut, won't they? So Jake Tapper tried to press and did the best job he could in talking about Mike Johnson and asking him about this. Mike Johnson, being the religious zealot that he is, you would think that Mike Johnson would be the first person, if he had a backbone, to say, yeah, this is inappropriate. I mean, this is the same guy that monitors what porn his son is watching. An accountability partner is the word that he used. So you would think that somebody like Mike Johnson would say, yeah, we shouldn't be talking about anybody's genitalia, whether it be a former professional golfer or anybody. He should be sticking to policy. Here's Jake Tapper pressing Mike Johnson on the statements that Donald Trump made over the weekend.
Let's turn to the 2024 race. You heard President Trump's remarks. Let me read you the lead of the Associated Press story about Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. Quote, Donald Trump's campaign suggested he would begin previewing his closing argument Saturday night with Election Day barely 2 weeks away. But the former president kicked off his rally with a detailed story about Arnold Palmer, at one point even praising the late legendary golfer's genitalia, unquote. Mr. Speaker, you're crossing all over the country. You're working hard to get Republicans over the line in this election. You're talking about substantive issues. Is this really the closing message you want voters to hear from Donald Trump, stories about Arnold Palmer's penis?
Well, listen, I think that the headline that I read about the rally in Pennsylvania yesterday was the big question, and it's the one that Kamala Harris has not been able or willing to answer, and that is, are you better off now than you were under the Trump administration?
Complete deflection, won't answer the question, word salad, just like any other Republican that you'll ask about this issue. They won't answer the question. They won't answer anything directly. They have no backbone. Mike Johnson and his accountability partner, his son, first person to say no porn allowed. But yet when the leader, of your party starts talking about Arnold Palmer's genitalia, you completely deflect. The question wasn't about policy. It wasn't about Kamala Harris. It wasn't about, are you better now than you were 4 years ago? That wasn't the question, Mr. House Speaker. The question was about the man who you support talking about Arnold Palmer's genitalia, one of the first things he said at a campaign rally when there are kids, there are children there, and you want this guy to be the leader of the free world? Are you effing kidding me? And then Donald Trump spoke at somewhat of a town hall event with a woman by the name of Sage Steele, fired from ESPN, a right-wing dope who constantly says ignorant and stupid things about the left on a daily basis. And Sage Steele, say what you want about her, but she still is kind of a household name. People know who she is. Well, here's Donald Trump. Maybe he's in the bunker. Maybe he has Alzheimer's, calling her Paige.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's have a little fun, Paige, okay?
Here we go.
Paige? Is he in the bunker? I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, does he have Alzheimer's? Is he okay? Donald Trump, that wasn't Paige. That was Sage Steele. Seems like every single day he calls people by the wrong name. It's very, very bizarre. And here's, going along those lines, here's Donald Trump saying that he doesn't have any cognitive problems. I don't have cognitive. Got no cognitive, he says. Have a listen to this.
The one thing they said that was great, we've watched this guy for 20 years. The one thing we know is that he's got no cognitive problem. I have no cognitive. She may have a cognitive problem, but there's no cognitive problem. It was nice that they actually said that. They said, if anyone has any questions, we were grilling this guy for 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Got no cognitive. In fact, if anything, he's maybe better. I don't even know if I like this. Maybe he's better than he was 20 years ago. So anyway, no.
I don't think anybody would say that, Mr. Former Cheeto Jesus president. Why don't you take a cognitive test today? Why don't you release your medical records? Why won't you release them? Why is it that Kamala Harris has released all of her medical records and you won't release yours? Why is it that you won't debate her again? You said, quote, it's too late. Whatever happened to any place, anywhere, anytime. You won't debate her again. You're canceling all these interviews on 60 Minutes and your CNN town hall and your NRA event. Why won't you take a cognitive test now? And why won't you release your medical records? I think those are very fair questions to ask. And then he doubled down on the dog eating nonsense. He did an interview on Fox News, and here's Donald Trump doubling down on the dog eating nonsense that took place in Springfield, Ohio. The reason being why there were over 50 threats there and bomb threats in schools is because of this exact stuff that Donald Trump is still doubling down on.
Your famous line about Springfield, Ohio, and I take your point that 15 to 20,000 legal Haitian immigrants settling in that area causes a lot of friction. But when you said, it's gone viral there, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, you say you're just reporting what had been said. But why not say now, well, look, that turned out not to be true.
I don't know if
Here's
it's
my
not true.
board of
I don't know if it's true or not true. I read
eating
something.
the pets, you don't know if it's true or not true? It's been debunked by local officials.
What about the geese? What about the geese? What happened there? They were all missing. I don't know.
There was one guy with two geese.
Howie, I have no idea.
I have no idea. Well, he has no idea what he's talking about. Again, the goose, he says. There was one middle-aged white man, not a Haitian immigrant, that was caught killing a couple geese. There is zero evidence that any legal Haitian immigrants were stealing pets and eating them. It's been debunked by everybody, from the city manager to the Republican mayor to the Republican governor. But yet Donald Trump can't admit he's wrong, and he can't say that it's not true or he misspoke or whatever excuse he wants to make. He still doubles down and he says, I don't know because he read it somewhere. That's how pathetic these people are. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they're pathetic and they're dangerous. And what does Cheeto Jesus also do over the weekend? He waddles his way over to McDonald's. But let me start off by saying the McDonald's restaurant that he went to was closed. Why? The manager put a sign on the front of the McDonald's store that they were shutting down the store because Donald Trump was arriving. Because if Donald Trump was going to do an honest day's work, wouldn't you want the store to be open? Wouldn't you want it to be real work? So what do? A couple of his supporters show up, and they stage everything. They start rehearsing the drive-thru hours before Donald Trump arrived. How do we know this? Because there's video that proves it. That's why. So you have a closed McDonald's store. The manager shuts it down. He puts a note on the front of the store saying why they're shutting it down. You have Donald Trump supporters that are rehearsing going through the drive-thru. And then Fatso shows up. Okay, Cheeto Jesus shows up. He puts on that little apron of his, and these poor employees are trying to teach him how to make French fries, and somehow he screws that up also. They filmed this pathetic campaign commercial. These were not real customers. They had all the rehearsals and everything, and then Rapist shows up. And his dumb supporters, because as I've said before, many of his supporters are some of the dumbest people that America has to offer, think that he worked a hard day and he's an everyday American just like you. The man put on an apron. He was there for about 20 minutes and he left. With the store being closed with no real customers. And why did he do this? Well, in part, I'm sure it's jealousy because he's trying to resonate with middle America. Kamala Harris actually worked at McDonald's. She actually got paid to work at McDonald's. And this guy puts on a uniform for 20 minutes for a photo opportunity and makes a commercial out of it, making it sound like he's your everyday guy. Let's be very clear on this. He's never worked a 9-to-5 job in his entire life. He's had yes men around him his entire life. He's lived with a silver spoon in his mouth since he was a young child. He was given a $500 million company from his dad. He doesn't know what it's like to do real work. He has no idea. And he just shows up at a McDonald's, and now some of his dumb supporters will believe, there's my guy, hardworking American, because he showed up for 20 minutes and put on an apron. And by the way, how awkward did this guy look putting on an apron and even learning how to make French fries? The guy's probably never pumped his own gas in his car. The guy's never changed his own tire. The guy's never done anything by himself. I'd be surprised if he even ties his own shoes. Based on his morbid obesity, I doubt that he's even capable of doing that. And yet we're led to believe that he's this hardworking American because for 15 minutes, employees were trying to attempt to teach him how to make French fries. How dumb are you people to buy into this nonsense? If you go on social media and look at some of the MAGA supporters out there, they think it was such a great thing. What a great thing he did resonating with the American people by showing up at a closed McDonald's with some of his supporters that were fake customers and handing out a couple bags. I mean, to me, this is just like when a hurricane hits and he throws paper towels out to people. It's so disingenuous. It's such BS. It's such nonsense. But again, there are so many dumb people in this country that they believe the stuff that they see. These are some of the same people that laugh when he makes comments about Arnold Palmer's penis. These are the people that laugh when he lies about legal Haitian immigrants stealing your pets and eating them. These are the same people that chant, "Send them back," when he talked about legal Haitian immigrants and how they should, quote, "get the hell out." These are the same idiots that chant, "send them back." I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think some of these dumb, racist, bigoted MAGA supporters, they are the ones that should be deported. Bring in some of these immigrants that want a better life for themselves and their family that are hardworking. I'd rather them be here than these ignorant, middle-aged, white, uneducated Donald Trump supporters that do nothing for society, and they're just dangerous morons. And if you don't believe me, I'll take a page from the Kamala Harris playbook. Just go to one of Donald Trump's rallies. You'll see it for yourself. 99% dumb white people, uneducated. It feels like a Klan rally. I've been to some of these rallies. I know what it's like. It's a bunch of hateful, ignorant white people that are brainwashed and don't have any brain cells. They watch their Newsmax all day, and they're stupid. They're idiots. What do you want me to say? These are dumb people.